There really isn't a typical workday in college athletics. My day-to-day responsibilities change a lot. I'm a part of a coaching staff that functions as a team, and we work together toward the same goals. The constant is that we want to find and recruit the best basketball players and best people to NC State. When they get here, we want to develop them and help them grow individually and collectively. And then when we get into the season, we want to do everything that we can to help these individuals and this group be as prepared as possible for competition. Like I said, skills vary from day to day based on what is needed. For that reason, you have to be flexible and you have to work ahead. Over time, you gain knowledge and skills through experience, and that's what you focus on. Can I understand the game of basketball in a different way? What can we do differently to improve? I'm always trying to learn and integrate new ideas and new technologies, and I'm always trying to become more involved in different areas of the program so I can learn and grow from these experiences. I've heard it from a lot of people in this profession, and I'd agree with them. If all we did was basketball, this job would be easy. There's so much more than just watching and coaching the game. The challenge is overcoming the obstacles that you didn't expect. In a group this large, someone will make a mistake somewhere, and you got to work together to fix it. It may be on the court, it may be off the court. So the biggest challenge is being ready for anything, and oftentimes trying to put out a fire before anyone sees the smoke. Well, that's the other side of it. The best part is basketball. I get paid to work with a group of people who coach a game. I love the game of basketball, and it's awesome that this job allows me to make it such a big part of my life. And I'd also add that I work with a great group of people. That's not always the case with coaching staffs across the country. Being in a great place with great people, getting paid to do this, I'm very fortunate. I think the obvious negative is the hours. This is as far away from a 9 to 5 as it gets. Beyond the nights and weekends and holidays and summers, you are always on call. My responsibility to our players and our staff, as well as the accountability that I have to this institution, it all supersedes what's going on in my personal life. You have to be available, and you have to realize if you're not working and getting better, someone else is. Like I said, maybe sometimes in the summer I have a 40-hour work week, but it's almost always more than that. Once we get in season and we have 2 or 3 games in a week, I can easily put 80 to 100 hours in. There have been times when I drove home and I saw newspapers that were already out in driveways. I slept for a couple hours and I'm back in the office at 8. Whatever it takes to get the job done. But again, it's basketball and I love it, so I don't necessarily feel like it's work. I don't know the answer to that. It's tough to say because this role is different from one school to another. I mean, my job specifically, the video role, it's changed a lot. Technology has advanced to the point that it's not so much a mindless role of gathering tapes for the coaches to watch. Now access to opponents' games is so much easier than it used to be. Another thing is analytics is such a big part of the game, and game planning and coaching. Like, for instance, with a couple of clicks, I can get all the video of every time Amber Richardson drives to the basket with her left hand. It gets really that specific. So there are a lot of people that are in this position as a stepping stone to become a full-fledged coach, and then there are others that are really tech savvy, and they're not as involved in the basketball side of things. So with it being so different from one school to another, I really don't know the answer to that. I think it is growing. The video role right now is available at far less than half of the colleges across the country. At most schools, assistant coaches, director of operations, graduate assistants, managers, they all share the duties. But I think that with the increase in all the television revenues, the more money going to the schools, women's basketball is growing big time in popularity. So I could see schools, more schools starting to add this position. I was an assistant coach for 5 years at a mid-major D1 program in Nashville, Tennessee, Belmont University. Coach Moore was 2 hours away at UT Chattanooga, and we recruited some of the same players. We played against each other in non-conference. I got to know him through that, and I was lucky enough that he had a spot open up on his staff. And I had to hound him for about 4 months to get it, but I'm glad I did.